what was your reaction when you found out you were cast in the sequel?
Happy,
so
excited.
Yeah.
Great. Thrilled. I feel like it came out of sort of nowhere. We know how it is. Like you tape for things and
you have the chicest story. I'm sorry. You were on Broadway.
I was on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Yes.
And I was like, David, send him in.
David, send him in.
This is
yes.
crazy.
Yeah. David Frankel came to see my Broadway show after I had done my final callback. And I think that one of our wonderful stage managers backstage was like, Helen, there's a David Frankel here to see you. He really wants to come back. And I was like, oh yeah, David, come back. Come on,
let's talk.
Come to my dressing room. Yeah, like all this stuff. But it's just because like it was at the point where I wanted to share the world that I was in. And I was so happy I had such a wonderful callback experience with him. And he made it so painless and was such a grounding and normal guy that I was like, oh yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. And then he has made such a beautiful world. So yeah, to like zoom out is crazy, but the zooming in is just like we had such lovely people around, so it didn't feel overwhelming.
What was it like sharing certain scenes with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway?
Like such an honor. Learned so much, and what else can you say? Like, it was just amazing.
It is like, what else can you say? Like, it really is like, the professionalism and the talent is like what you would expect. And then you're like, yeah, that's just happening. Like, that's crazy. I'm watching like one of the best, like, regardless of who you're talking about, you're like, I'm watching one of the best actors living, like, act right now. That's crazy.
Now that I hear us talk about it back, I'm like, it was rare air, but I don't know that it felt special for sure while we were doing it, but it is rare air. And I don't know that I clocked it while we were doing it, that it was like,
it's sometimes when you get distance and perspective, you can really like see it, and feel it.
And you do, it's a balance, because you want to like to appreciate the moment and take it all in, and also not make anyone feel weird and not be too like you're like, we are still at work, like I don't want to. It's a balance for sure.
Simone, your new character is the new Emily, so to speak. But she isn't flustered. In fact, she's quite the opposite. She's really cool and composed. Can you tell me more about how you and the filmmakers brainstormed what your character would be like?
Aline and David kept saying, like, this is someone who holds himself with such poise and, like, almost this regal kind of air to them, and has this quiet confidence and can, like, say things to Miranda and everyone else and kind of get away with it with a smile on her face kind of thing. So I watched a lot of like best moments of Rihanna, because I was like, who can say anything and get away with it, basically. Obviously I'm exaggerating to a degree, but it just helped me get in the vibe of her confidence and her sassiness, and just to embody that kind of feeling as a woman, and then paint it in my own way, for a better word. So that was a small insight to the process of developing her.
Helen, you were performing in Broadway in the Broadway musical Maybe Happy Ending. At the same time, you were filming the scenes from this movie. What was that process like?
For Maybe Happy Ending, it was such a personal, amazing journey. And at that point, I think I had done about 200, 300 performances. So it was something that I wasn't necessarily like nervous about remembering the lines anymore. So it was very exciting to start the day with so much newness and practice this muscle that I haven't necessarily like flexed before, and learn so much. And then to translate all of the comedy that I was learning in the Broadway show that I was doing at night and translate it to like a film setting. I also felt like a badass doing it, because I knew how hard it was. And at the same time, I was excited to like surprise myself, and do something that maybe necessarily on paper I would have been like, I can't do that. That's too overwhelming. That's too crazy. And I was surrounded by an amazing support system, and everyone on set was so lovely and patient and wonderful, that it just kind of felt like, let me just show up and try my best, and the rest will fall into place.
Caleb, your character Charlie has a happy to be here vibe, but he expresses so much through his like subtle moments. Did you come up with like a backstory for him?
Yeah, it's funny because it is like not so dissimilar from like my own. Like I thought a lot about like him being from a place like where I'm from, like kind of middle of nowhere, like rural America, and like wanting to move to New York and like be able to express himself. And Alina and I talked a lot about Nigel in the first movie, talking about reading Runway magazine under the covers with a flashlight and it being like a beacon of hope for kids like him and kids like me, Caleb, and also a kid like Charlie. And yeah, just I think the reason he's so happy to be there is because it means something different to him. He didn't I envisioned his character as not having grown up somewhere where there was access to a lot of open-mindedness or chicness or any of that. So yeah, that was some of the stuff that I was like thinking through with Charlie and why he would be so happy and like elated to be chained to his chair at his desk and having this hard job that was so hard for Andy, and like that Emily had so much anxiety in the original, why his perspective would be more aligned with like Nigel's feelings about it. Yeah.
Molly Rogers, your incredible costume designer, said she wanted to put everyone in timeless clothes that made them look and feel their best. What was it like collaborating with Molly, and do you have a favorite look from the film?
We were saying Molly,
Yeah.
the costume department, Molly's whole team were just amazing. Jake, Danny, Jessica, and the whole makeup and hair department. But costumes, it was just, she's a great personality. And she's we're seeing her tonight, right?
Yeah. She understood the assignment.
Yes.
Because when you're doing costumes for the sequel of Devil Wears Prada, you know that there's going to be like expectation. And I think that to Molly's point of it wanting it to be timeless, like people wanted, I don't know, I think she wanted it to have the same kind of like standing the test of time, at least in like in a fashion sense, sort of towards the first movie, and having like a very specific point of view, I think was that. And so on set, she was always like discerning and intentional about the pieces that she was talking about.
This is great. The first film has not only remained a fan favorite, but it continues to grow with like a new generation. Why do you think that is?
I think it's such a satisfying movie to watch, to see Andy Sachs come in and she's overwhelmed and out of her depth in this hyper-real fashion world with these hyper-real characters, and she's in New York, and then she rises to it and overtakes Miranda and has the makeover, and it's just so satisfying to watch. And I think it's a universal story that is timeless, right? So anyone from any generation watching it is rooting for her.
Yeah. And in rewatches, I feel differently about her journey.
Yeah, you were saying
so I
that,
think
the older you get. Yeah.
Whenever it arrives in your life, I think there's something to glean from it. Even like Miranda's journey with her husband and her kids, and like being a mother and trying to balance family and work. Like those are all, that's pretty universal theme. So I think, it reaches a lot of different kinds of lived experiences.
I think the original and the new film all tap into a number of cultural obsessions that we have. We're obsessed with New York, being young in New York. We're obsessed with power and money and looks and who gets to be near all of that. But I think really when I think about it, and what I got so excited about reading this script was that the thing that I love the most about the first film is that it's truly character driven. And if I showed, if you showed somebody 15 lines from the movie and you said, which character do you think said this? You could get it with almost 100% certainty, which is the same about great sitcoms and about great plays. Like, could you tell if there was no name and no delivery, like who said each line? And Aline's brilliance as a writer, that's what it is, and the second one maintains that as well. It has that character driven like brilliance in the writing, and then her and David collaborating, like the way he directed both of these films is just like, they were meant to make these movies together, I think.